Hey guys, you're watching Boondocking with Dennis. It is 1:19 in the afternoon. I'm heading back over to the Lamar area. I wanted to check out the marina. It's initially the reason I went over to Lamar 2 videos ago. We wound up going to Goose Island and we saw that traffic accident yesterday. When we go there, I want to see, check for skid marks on the, nope, not the underpants, folks. Goat, where are you? Freaking goat. Hold on. I'm going to check for skid marks. Not the underpants, folks, the roadway. If you didn't see yesterday's video, it appears a white, I believe it was a Tesla, ran into a tractor trailer. Not sure what the circumstances were that caused that, but it looked like 2 people messed up, both drivers. But we're not supposed to judge, and I guess that means speculate. So it looks like, fortunately, no one was seriously injured, which I'm glad, because we hung out there a little bit, and then I drove across the causeway. I got well past the airport before I saw any emergency vehicles heading this way. 2 police cars, and then finally an ambulance. So, not sure what the response time was on that, but they could have been tied up on the other side of town. I know we have several ambulance companies here in town. Speed limit's 60 miles an hour. I'm going 65. And a truck is passing us, probably going, what do you think, 75? He's in a hurry. Maybe we can get another accident on film up here. It's a gorgeous day. 91 degrees. And of course, I got company.
Did you know that 97% of the world is stupid? What's going on the other 5%?
Straighten out the camera a little bit. Guess I need to tighten that down. I have a backup holder. I guess I need to use that. Bring this one in and get the old glue sticks out. The one thing I can tighten to stop the camera from going left to right. Looks like it cracked. I probably tightened it too much and the plastic cracked. Once again, I'm my own worst enemy on these things. It's gorgeous out, man. I love these big fluffy white clouds. Earlier today, I went downtown Rockport, and they were painting 2 new murals. So I got to talk to one of the artists that was doing it, and I'll show that footage in a couple days. I'm going to try to stop there every day and get the progress. There's no one at the marina. Well, that's good. There's not even one car. So right up at this intersection, if that truck was making a right-hand turn, this is where he should have been, right here. Because the front of the truck was halfway down the go straight part right in front of us. I can see rubber right there. I see very little rubber, all on one tire, and that one front tire was blown out. So I honestly don't know if they were meaning to turn in the wrong way, or if it just, that's where they wound up after the accident. I honestly don't know. But we're going to go down here to Seagun Bait. C-S-E-A Gun Bait. There's a sign. There's your sign. Right there. Seagun Bait. We've driven through this little housing development here in the past, and it's still active, it's maintained, and it almost looks like on-base housing, but I think it was part of the larger resort that was here. Private community, residents and invited guests only. tries to invite me in. That's just what it reminds me of, kind of like, I mean, this was a happening spot many, many years ago. And the historical marker up here, there is a historical marker up here, will tell us about that. The hysterical Freudian slip. The historical marker kind of talks about a famous duck from this area, where I think it was stuffed and mounted by the time it got here. But I remember reading it in Ripley's Believe It or Not. You used to have a little section in the comics on Sundays, the colored comics, and I remember reading it. I was probably 15 or 16 when I worked for the Philadelphia Bulletin, and I used to read there's the top of a boat. I don't know what happened to the rest of the boat. Let me see if I can just bring this down a little bit. Well, that's better. There you go. There's the top of a boat. Just sit right back and you'll hear a tale of a fateful trip that started from this tropic port aboard this tiny ship. The mate was a mighty sailor man, the skipper brave and sure. I forget how many passengers in it. 8 passengers did something that day on a 3-hour tour. A 3-hour tour. The weather started getting rough. The tiny ship was lost. If not for the courage of the fearless crew, the minnow would be lost. Seagun bait. Let me show you the famous mermaid there. I thought that gentleman was going to ask if we need help. And unless you're a psychiatrist, I do not need help. Well, I didn't do that very well, did I? There's a story behind this mermaid, and I looked it up once. Amy Montgomery. If you Google Amy Montgomery, it'll be an interesting story. Seagun bait, Amy Montgomery. Pretty cool. Right over here is the historical marker. Right on the other side of this no trespassing sign. How comfortable. Hopefully I won't get yelled at for reading the historical marker. Where's the historical marker? There it is. There's the historical marker right there. I'm going to go read it if I can. It's kind of the seagulls have kind of beaten us to it. So the phone number for Seagun Bait is 361-727-2220. This is Mills Wharf, built by John Howard Mills in 1932. Was a renowned center for waterfowl hunting and fishing from the 1930s until it was sold in the 1960s. It consisted of cottages, there you go, a cookhouse, a guide service office, a store, a tackle shop, and a unique wildlife museum with famous duck featured in Ripley's Believe It or Not, which had an oyster permanently attached to its foot. The new Hug the Coast Highway 35, and that's what we were just driving on, made the wharf accessible, thereby aiding the growth of the tourism industry in the area. In 1946, Herbert and Harry Mills bought the wharf from their parents and expanded the business with a unique seaplane service to drop off customers at remote fishing sites. Well, that's pretty cool. 175 years of Texas independence. Texas property, marker property of Texas, marker property of the state of Texas. And right now there's not a whole lot going on. How you doing, bud?
Want it trout? Take hold.
I do not, but I'm renting right now. But thank you. I know, I appreciate it. I could go lie and tell people I caught something finally. Thank you, though. Pat, can I bring a fish home and clean it in your kitchen? Would you mind? That was very nice of them. That's the way people are down here. If I was just in my truck, I might have taken them up on that offer. That way I could clean the fish and film it, and all the experts could tell me what I was doing wrong. There's some boats out here. It's just hot. There's a bunch of, everyone's got their own little sign. I guess a few guides work out of here, because they got signs up. Guess if you're looking for a fishing guide, call that main number. What do we got down here? Oh, this boat is something, does something down here. We filmed this boat before. We were last over here about a year ago. And this boat is well kept and ready to go. Well, I don't know. Looks like it's been sitting here a while now that I said that. Of course it's just sitting there right now. That's one of those, that's a work boat, right? Those tall things go down into the sand and keep it steady while it's working. Maybe they use it to set pilings. I don't know. So we gotta Google Amy Montgomery. We gotta Google the fish with the oyster. You know, I did Google it before I started, but I had typed barnacle. I thought it was a barnacle offhand. This part right down here just goes right out onto the water. Now there's Aransas Bay. Hey kids, I appreciate your day. I hope you're doing well. Thanks for riding along today. There's your postcard. Thanks for watching.